Happy day, students. Today we started a new grammar topic which is finite and non-finite verbs. And here we go. So initially we discussed about what are verbs. Verbs are the action words. For example, bath, run, skip, eat, read, write, sleep, drink, talk. So whatever actions we are doing, we call it as a verb, right? So the verbs are of many types, but in this grade, you're going to learn two varieties of verbs which are divided based on the importance of subject. And those two varieties are finite verb and non-finite verb. Initially, what is a finite verb? So the finite verb is a verb which in which have it it will represent one subject. It is also called as the main verb, and it is also used to identify the tense form of the sentence, and it will indicate a person or a number. So in simple, the main verb in a sentence, we call it as finite verb. It is a very easy concept. For example, if we say he plays cricket, he is a subject. Subject is about which or about what we are talking about whom we are talking about. So subject is a word about which, what, or about whom we are talking about. So he is a subject here. Plays is the action word here, which is the verb. And cricket, he plays what? What does he plays? So it answers to the question what, we call it as object. Here we have only one verb and that plays a predominant role. And this verb is plays is a finite verb. For example, we go to the next sentence. I went to the temple. Right? So what is the tense form here? The tense form is past tense. How did you identify that that is a past tense? With the verb went. So this is the main verb which we also call it as finite verb. And also the next sentence, my mom will eat the cake. Again, I'm asking you what type of sentence is this? What type of tense is this? You will be replying it as future tense. How did you identify? With the word will eat. So will eat is the verb which is representing the tense here. So eat is a finite verb, the main verb. Moving back to non-finite verb, they are the additional verb in a sentence. They does not have any subject, and they does not give any tense forms, or they does not represent any person or a number. And these non-finite verbs are all of three types. Okay, they are of three types. First, the verb is of two types, finite and non-finite, and the non-finite verb is of three types. What are the three types? Number one type is infinitives. Infinitives, they have a formula 2 plus verbs. So if you see a word extra verb which is preceded means which is on the front, you should see a 2, TO2. 2 plus the verbs, we call it as infinitives. For example, I love to eat mangoes. Here I is the subject, love is the main verb which we call it as finite verb. To eat, we call it as infinitives because eat is preceded by the word to. And mangoes is object. So the next sentence, my aim is to become a doctor. About what we are talking? My aim. We are talking about my aim. So my aim is the subject, is the verb, and to become is a infinitive. The second type of non-finite verbs is gerund. Gerund has the formula of verb plus ing, and it will be coming only as a subject or an object. It will not be followed by any nouns. So swimming is my hobby. Swimming is a subject, is the verb, and my hobby is an object and or complement. My hobby is a complement here, and swimming is a noun here. It is not an action. It is mentioning a noun. It's a kind of activity. So here we call it as swimming. We call it as gerund because verb plus ing. It's not followed by any kind of nouns. It is itself acting as a noun. The second sentence, if you see, I go for walking. I is subject, go is main verb, we call it as finite verb, and for walking is an object. I go for what? I go for walking. It answers to the question what. So when a word is answering to a question what, we tell it as object at the end. Okay, so this walking verb plus ing which is not followed by any noun, we call them as gerund. Okay, so A basic formula of gerund is verb plus ing. And it will not be followed by nouns. It will come itself as a subject or object. The third type is a bit complicated type, what we call it as participles. You would have already learned about participles when you learn about perfect tenses. So participle or the ed forms, we call it as, sometimes it will also comment as verb plus ing formats. And also it will be followed by a noun. For example, I saw a sleeping dog. Here, we say sleeping as participle because sleeping is followed by a noun called dog, and together we are referring to a dog which is sleeping, right? So sleeping dog, singing bird, right? All these are some gerunds which are followed by nouns. We together call it as participles. Okay, so these are some examples, and the interested candidates can register. For example, interested candidates, we are talking about interested candidates, can register is the verb, and interested is the participle here, which is followed by the noun candidates. I'm here to share you another complicated examples which are given in the book about what we saw today. This is one exceptional case. Okay, this is one exceptional case where our thought process should be different. So here, hunting tigers is prohibited in our country. About what we are talking? Hunting tigers or tiger hunting? It is tiger hunting. So this is the subject, and this should be like tiger hunting. Because hunting tigers means we are not referring to the tigers which are hunting other animals. We are referring to the tiger hunting activity. Is prohibited is the main verb. We call it as finite verb. Okay, and this is an additional information. Here, if you see hunting, this should be like tiger hunting. Is it followed by any noun? No, it is not followed by any noun. So this verb plus ing, which is not followed by any noun, we call them as gerund. So here, hunting is not the participle, it is the gerund. It is a non-finite verb, which is a gerund. Next example is 12th question in your book, page number 58. If you could see page number 58 in your course book, you will get another 12th question where you get another exceptional case example. Mr. Scrooge was obsessed with hoarding money. So Scrooge is the subject, was obsessed is the main verb, we call it as finite verb. He obsessed with what? He is obsessed with hoarding money. So here it answers to the question, he obsessed with what? So it is coming as an object, right? Object. As well as here it is coming as a subject. So if a word ing comes as a subject or an object, we tell it as gerund, not the participle. And hoarding means getting the money in an illegal way. We usually call it as money hoarding. So now if you apply all the thought process, after the hoarding there is no noun, so we call them as gerund. So these are some exceptional cases. So in English, one particular word can have different frames, like it can be a noun, it can be a verb, it can be an adjective sometimes, it can be also an adverb. So these are few examples of exceptional cases to find the difference between the participles and gerunds. Okay, as of now, we'll end the session here, guys. And followed by this, kindly make a note of the workbook activities which I gave you today. And also, if you have any queries, you can reach out to me without any delay. Bye, guys.